There's a slight interlude, yeah, that will stand you in good stead for later in the course. We're just going to look at how marginals and totals relate to one another, because we said that total product, yeah, is simply the marginal product of the first plus the marginal product of the second plus the marginal product of the third, and so on. Yeah. So in other words, total product is all the marginals added up. So and we said that for the one that we had done, we had marginal product look like that, and we said as long as the marginal product was rising and positive, total product would rise more quickly. Then here, marginal product was falling but still positive, so total rose more slowly, and until finally the marginal became negative and total went down. Yeah? So that was output, that was labour. But we can see how, in fact, this relationship applies to any marginal and any total. So imagine you had a marginal that looked like that. Yeah, this is it doesn't really matter the quantity of something that's changing. Yeah, and this is the amount. What does the total look like? So think about it. But essentially what we're saying is that each worker adds the same as the one before. So if that's the marginal, suppose it's 10, the total would go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. It would be a straight line. That wasn't a very good straight line. It would be a straight line looking like that. So let's suppose instead that the marginal went like that. So the first worker adds 5 or whatever. The first one is 5. The next one is plus 10, plus 15, plus 20, plus 25, plus 30. That's the marginal. The total, look like that. It rises more and more quickly. Imagine the marginal went like that. The first one adds 20, the next one 15, 10, 5, 2. Each one is adding, but it's adding less. So my total this time is going to go up fast, then slower and slower and slower and slower, like that. So it rises, but more slowly. If we now introduce one that's, I'll change colours. If we introduce one that now goes negative, let's imagine we have one that goes like that. Well, that's going to be like that one. I'm going to run out of that orange. That orange one's not great, is it? Up until there, it's like that one. It's rising more slowly. And then it starts to fall. What about something that looks like that? It goes down to start with, and then it rises. That's my marginal. My total, up until there, it's positive, remember? So it's rising, but it's rising more slowly. And then it rises more quickly. So it rises more slowly, and it rises more quickly. That would be my total. So any marginal and any total have a kind of mathematical relationship between them. The total is just the marginal added up. And if we just take one very weird one, let's just invent something totally strange. Just to exhibit. Just to illustrate, imagine my marginal went wee 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 wee. Or no, actually, let's imagine it goes wee 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 like that. Fine. So what does the total look like? Well, shouldn't go backwards. To start with, so we can just divide it into zones. To start with, it's rising more slowly. Then. Rising more quickly. Then here, rising more slowly. Then here, rising more quickly. Then up to there, rising more slowly. Then between here and here, falling. Then rising more quickly. Rising more slowly. Rising more quickly. Rising more slowly. Rising more quickly. and then finally falling again. Yeah. So that's how that's your marginal, that's your total. That's how they always interrelate. And we'll come. The reason I'm doing this is that we're going to look at other marginals and other totals later. Yeah. So yeah, when we look at marginal cost and marginal revenue later in the course, yeah, then you might want to look back to this one, yeah, just to remind yourself of the relationship between those. That the total is just made up of the marginals added up. One last addition to that. We can sum up the relationship between marginals and totals in general with a simple rule, or two simple rules, in fact. Yeah. The first rule is if the marginal is positive, yeah, so if it's above 0, then the total will be going up. If the marginal is negative, so it's below the line, below the x-axis, yeah, then the total will be going down. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, yeah, if we think about positive marginals, if the marginal is positive and it's increasing, so the marginal is positive and the marginal is going up, the total rises more quickly. So it'd be one of those. If the marginal is positive, but it's falling, so it's still positive, it's above the x-axis but it's falling, then the total rises, but this time is going to be more slowly. So then it'd be one of those. Yeah, and that's how they work.